And next week, the House Oversight Committee is set to hold its first hearing into the impeachment inquiry into President Biden that Tom was just talking about. A new Morning Consult poll finds Americans are pretty divided over the probe. A plurality, 48% of voters support the impeachment inquiry, 42% oppose it, and then 10% have no opinion on the matter. The latest impeachment fight comes as a new Pew Research Center poll finds just 16% of Americans trust the government at least some of the time. That, by the way, is a near 70-year low. 28% of Americans have unfavorable views of both the Republican and the Democratic parties. That's a record high. Joining us now is Rich Rubino, political historian and author of The Great American Political Trivia Challenge. Rich, good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me on.
So this one publication I was reading this week called this year Impeachapalooza 2023. You know, the year that everybody's looking for somebody to impeach. President Biden, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, of course, President Trump impeached twice while he was in office. Has the word lost its weight, and does that concern you?
Yeah, probably has. It's supposed to be essentially the ultimate remedy. But we live in a time today of essentially, in part because of, partisan gerrymandering, that for members of the House of Representatives specifically, many are elected in congressional districts on the Republican side that are overwhelmingly conservative and the Democratic side that are overwhelmingly liberal. So consequently, in order to avoid a primary challenge and kind of secure the bona fides with the base, I think the Democrats, it's their advantage to do everything they possibly can when Donald Trump was president to go after Donald Trump. And whereas, contrary-wise, it's the same thing in Joe Biden, in the Republicans' case, do everything you possibly can to go after Joe Biden, even though you know that the chances of impeachment actually happening and then it actually going to the Senate and being acquitted are virtually immutable. But it's still, just from a political perspective, it's certainly advantageous to the members of Congress.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see it as being used for partisan revenge purposes now, and nothing really comes of it. You know, as I mentioned, Trump was impeached twice. He's now the leading candidate for the Republican Party. I think our founding fathers would probably be dumbfounded by the frequency at which impeachment is issued or threatened. Can we have a properly functioning government if we keep doing this every year, every other year?
Well, I mean, there are things that are certainly good, that are certainly going through, some of that you don't particularly hear about, but we're at the time now where, the Congress and the president can't really even agree on a federal budget. Usually, by the way, you often get these kind of, you have kind of a fringe congressman introduce a resolution of impeachment. It goes nowhere. For example, Walter Jones in North Carolina, a libertarian type Republican, introduced impeachment against Barack Obama for the use of drone strikes. It went nowhere. Dennis Kucinich from Ohio introduced impeachment against George W. Bush over Iraq. It went nowhere. So it's always kind of a fringe issue. What you're seeing now, though, it's gone from the extreme to the mainstream. And now it's essentially become, as opposed to an ultimate remedy, it's become essentially the standard operating procedure. And where we go from this, I don't know, but it's certainly, all you have to do, one member of Congress has to essentially introduce it. Usually it goes to the Judiciary Committee. The House Judiciary Committee essentially tables it. It never goes anywhere. Now we're in a scenario, because it's so partisan, that there's a very good chance that the Judiciary Committee actually takes up a lot of these impeachments, and it goes through the House. And then obviously, it goes through the Judiciary Committee. If it ever went to the House, if it ever went to the United States Senate, it would be overwhelmingly defeated.
Yeah. Can we switch gears? Let's talk about just the distrust in government that I mentioned off the top. 16% of Americans trust the government at least some of the time. We've seen lawmakers clash over who's to blame for that sort of distrust, that magnitude of distrust, but that also didn't happen overnight. Do you see this changing anytime soon? And what would it take to kind of, bridge the divide here?
No, I don't. And if you look at the poll, if you could look kind of the inside baseball of that poll, if you ask, for example, term limits, overwhelming support, which is considered a conservative issue, on the contrary-wise, in the left wing of the Democratic Party, there's what's considered more of a left-wing movement, scrapping the Electoral College or altering it. That also has overwhelming support, so it's really kind of anti the system. But what's kind of this inherent contradiction here is, last time around, 94% of House members got reelected, and not a single member of the United States Senate who is an incumbent lost their reelection. So on the one hand, Americans are saying, we don't like politicians, we need to get them all out, we need term limits, throw the bums out. But on the other side, they're saying, well, my congressman, I like him. He goes to, he goes to the Eagle Scout ceremonies. He goes to the Little League. He's ceremonies. He's always there. If he's a dedication for a bridge, we like that person. What we don't like is the other 435 voting members. So there really is a contradiction. If people really wanted to kind of a complete new slate and just to start fresh, a tabula rasa, they could do that by electing all new members, but you don't see that happening, and incumbents have an insurmountable advantage.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.